Good morning, everybody. My name is Namone Brenda Tabitha, as I'd already mentioned, and this is our inaugural information session, and it's also our launch event. We're joined by a lot of people in various capacities, but most of all, we're grateful for all of you being here today. We're joined by Professor Wasswa Balunywa, the principal of Makerere University Business School. We're joined by Mr. Charles Olupot, the director of the ICT Center, and DSC leads from all over the country and from all over Africa. So today's program is as follows. I'm going to give the introduction and guiding talk, and then we're going to have a small talk from Solomon Opio, the GDG Cloud Kampala lead, and we'll have the director of the ICT Center speak to us shortly, and then the dean from our faculty speak to us, or we could have our professor speak to us right before that, because he's a man of many engagements and he is quite engaged at the moment. We are very blessed to have him today, and he will give us our launch session. Then we shall have a talk from Ogurinka Benjamin, the lead of the DSC University of Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Then a break and a Q&A. So let's get into my talk. What is DSC and what is the club all about? So my name, as I've already mentioned, is there, and my Twitter handle is at little _Mugesu on Twitter. And what benefits can you get from the Developer Students Club, and what can it do for you? So Developer Student Clubs are a flagship brand from Google developers, as you can see right here. And we are part of the bigger family of the developers who are harnessing Google technologies for a betterment of their communities. So what it's basically about, it helps students bridge the gap between theory and practice. That's the simple mission that it stands for. And these university-based communities cater to students interested in developer technologies. Students grow their knowledge in a peer-to-peer learning environment while building solutions for local businesses. Developer Student Clubs is a community where everyone is welcome, and it's a program supported by Google developers. We applied for this program in April of this year, and we were accepted into this program in August. That's as recently as a month and a half ago, or even two. And we're very privileged to be part of them, carrying on the good things that we have today. So the team that I'm working with this year is a team of prolific individuals in their own right and with various skills. My co-lead is Olette Gracious, who is also a member of the Students' Information and Communications and Computing Association, SICA. The tech lead, who is the head of the tech team, that's Awar Viola, who is also part of this meeting. Media and creatives, who helped me put together a couple of things today, is Kisa Elaine Esther. Publicity is Eugene Mulinzi, who will be joining us shortly. And events and planning, we have Cyrus Sumika. And public relations, Namugema Resti, and our treasurer is Kunihira Shamin. The opportunities that you can get from this club are many. They include these and are not limited to just this. We get exclusive access to resources about Google products like Firebase, Android, Flutter, design, where we get access to resources like about material design components that help us make better solutions that are more attractive to users and much easier for users to use. We have notifications about competitions like the Google Summer of Code. That's an open source competition where students it's a sort of paid competition where students contribute to open source for companies or solutions in Google and are able to grow their tech skills at the same time. As a developer students club, we are mandated to participate in the annual solution challenge. And in that solution challenge, students from every developer students community all over the world submit solutions where they they solve for a problem in their communities. The top 10 winners are blessed to be flown out by Google to their offices in Sunnyvale, California. So we're also able to grow technical skills in a peer-to-peer learning environment, skills such as code, computer skills, and we network with many communities of developers. Our simple code of conduct here is we must be nice to one another, be very friendly and respectful. But before I proceed with that, allow me admit a few more people into this meeting. We've been joined by a couple of other people. Lovely. Thank you so much, everybody who has just joined us. You're welcome, Professor Moya. You're welcome, Karen. You're welcome, Mr. Bashir. Thank you so much, everybody who is able to join us today. So, as I was saying, our code of conduct is be nice, be very friendly and welcoming to everybody around you, irrespective of where they've come from. We must be respectful and avoid harassment and microaggressions or things that might rub other people the wrong way. We avoid demeaning jokes, and we must be respectful and constructive. We must always assume positive intent in everything we do, and we should be collaborative in everything that we do. That is the only way we can grow as a community, yes? Working together and sharing knowledge, helping each other is the best way we can grow as a community. So I have told us about the opportunities that we can get from the club, but we also have benefits from the club. So skills growth is the most important thing. As a person in technology, I have been able to grow my technical skills, and I can build mostly a full stack application on my own and with some help, a basic full stack application. And that is with me who has been in tech for all of only 15 months. That is before we began learning code at campus. And I am very proud to share my skills with everybody. So activities include hackathons, showcases, ideation and pitching, where we can work with the Entrepreneurship Center and the ICT Center. We have the solution challenges that happen at campus, and this is a great opportunity for us to collaborate with the centers on campus, where we can share our information, our skills, and we can collaborate and grow our communities on campus. We're able to collaborate with other universities, especially developer students clubs like the ones at Makerere, Uptake, UCU, all over the country, Lira University, even from outside the country. We can you can have innovations that can be nurtured into businesses on campus. I am proud to be one of the people who is being mentored by the Entrepreneurship Center on campus. And I believe that this is a great opportunity for students to do more than one thing. Aside from being nurtured as entrepreneurs, we can be nurtured as developers as well. And we get access to developer communities like GDG Kampala, that's the Google Developer Groups Kampala, Facebook Developer Circles in Kampala, and from all over East Africa. So our platforms on socials are very simple. I'm going to share these links in the chat box so that we can all follow. So this is the link to our page on Google Developers. And this is ideally what it looks like, that screenshot you see over there in the phone. And these are social media handles. We follow back, and we're always happy to have more of you join us every day. And we hope for support and to have more partners on board. But so far, we have been given pledged support from the Faculty of Computing. We hope to have a few labs and space for sessions and probably internet access, because most of these resources are online. And when it can be used as an incentive for students to join us. And the ICT Center and Entrepreneurship Center, we've spoken to the focus people, and they have pledged to help us with a few of these things like space resources, mentors, and partnership for competitions, and probably prizes for participants and winners. And it's a great thing to have more people on board. So I leave us with a little quote from AstroTeller that says, "Leaps of innovation require a bravery that borderlines on absurdity." That means that most people who are hoping to innovate something might be looked at as insane or something that is almost unachievable. But when you're brave enough to push harder, you're able to achieve what you're aiming at. And thank you so much for listening to me. Let's get on with our next speakers. Wow, we are overwhelmed by numbers. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I'm going to invite Solomon Opio, our GDG Cloud Kampala lead, to give us a small talk on the importance of community. You're welcome, Solomon. Over to you. Solomon, is everything okay?
Oh, very sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know my microphone was on mute. Sorry. Okay. That's the problem with online meetings these days. Okay. Thank you very much, Brenda. I would like to start by welcoming everyone. I consider this part of. I consider this a family. That's why I can confidently welcome everyone. It's good to see everyone on the call, and I believe at the end of all these, those of us, especially the students, the members who are going to be part of this, the students who are going to be part of this community, the DSC will benefit. So what I share right now should be, I believe, someone who is talking, please mute your microphone. So, as mentioned, my name is Solomon Opio, and I lead the Google Cloud developer community for Kampala. So I have had a number of interactions and with the communities, and most importantly, I want to mention that I have been a mentor for the MUBS Innovation Center. I'm a mentor there, and very excited to let you know that, of course, we are going to work together on this to make sure the community and generally the students benefit from this. So my background is software engineering. I want to just take us back briefly to my days at campus. So I want us to appreciate where we came from, or the kind of place where most of the students may be at the moment. When I started doing my course, software engineering, I came to the university and I did not actually know what software engineering was all about. Okay, I had a clue, but I did not have so much detail about all this. I remember when one of the lecturers came and was like, "What do you think?" He was asking the whole community. I mean the whole lot of software engineering of that time, and it was like, "What do you think you're going to what do you think you're going to do after you're done with campus?" So in a way, people did not know what they would do, and guys were of course giving different answers. But then he also did not tell us. So we started the course. I thank God that along the way I happened to love what I was doing, and one thing that happened was that while there, we did not have so many of these communities that we have. We did not have the people who could come and teach us and help us build on what the lecturers have given us. So when we started, it was sort of a hassle. Not until I came out and I started appreciating developer communities and all that. I would what used to happen was that a lecturer comes and tells you the group allocations we're going to have, let persons A, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 be in this group. All the dynamics of what is required to actually build a team, we didn't even know. Not until we started exposing ourselves to communities, to the tech. I mean, of course, looking at tech communities, that's where we got into hackathons and all that. So what is starting today is one place where we are going to learn the basics that we have in class. You're going to build on to actually experience what happens in the real world. So one, with communities, I want to make a brief presentation, just to show you where I'm coming from. Let me share my screen. Just a moment, I want to share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So when you look at, the first thing I want to share about is the passion that we can have from, I mean, if we have passion for technology, for example, because this is going to be much as we are going to be looking at several things to do with this club is not only for people doing technology, but when we have things like I mean, we can have people coming from other faculties and being part of this. So that means when we get into this, we are going to expect, I don't know if my background is not giving what I have on the background. I don't know if it's affecting, but I hope not. So when we have a passion for something, we shall definitely succeed in what we do. Now, when we get into clubs, whichever clubs that we usually have, we may have say whatever takes you to a club. There is something that takes you. You're probably passionate about something. You love technology. You love something, and that is what is going to drive you to get to where you're going. Given that we have the courses that we are doing, and we know that we have a club that is going to benefit us in several ways, we are going to, the moment we put in our energy, we shall definitely move to greater heights. Now that takes me to the next point. That comes the moment you have a passion for something, you're going to be consistent. Now, if we're going to be having sessions that are going to be running in this club, what we are expected to have, or what we are expected to do, is to be consistent. If the meetings are going to be, say, every Saturday, we should know that you're not going to skip, assuming you're having a program, you're not going to skip, say, three sessions, then you're going to catch up with the fourth one, and you'll call yourself, I mean, you'll say you're really benefited. So one, we need to believe that the only way we can learn is to be consistent with what we are doing, and at the end of the day, we shall definitely have we shall benefit from this club. Now, Tabitha's tenure is running for 1 year. And after that 1 year, where will you, I mean, after this 1 year is done, will you say you have really benefited from, you have done something, you have something tangible that you've picked from this? So consistency is one thing that is very good when it comes to communities. So because no one is going to push you to do something, now you need to drive yourself and be consistent with whatever you're doing. Another thing that I can mention, I have talked about this several times. When you look at this picture, these were the first. These were the few the first sessions. Okay, the first sessions that I had actually led to this. What happened? While you learn in these communities, one thing that you need to do is you need to share your knowledge. What you have learned, come and teach others. Now, a DSC club is going to run in a way that we are going to have the students coming to facilitate, and actually you learn from each other. The students may, we may have people coming in and all that, and just taking, I mean, receiving what they have gotten, but then not giving back. And basically, we need to know that when you learn and you give back, you actually learn more. So then it comes to sharing. Now, the sharing does not only look at having to, I mean, give back to community, but even online, speak about what you've learned. I'll talk about the developer expert program later on, but looking at you having to share. Now, when I got this was a time I was invited by the Google team to San Francisco, and this was not through my bosses, we say in sub-Saharan Africa, but this was actually directly from the global team that's in San Francisco. They looked at what I was doing with the community, and they said, I mean, please come and share what you've been doing. It's not like someone from the SSA team saw and were like, okay, let's invite this person. I shared what was happening, and this guys called me, and surprisingly, I actually happened to be in this conference. This, I think, was the first conference, and we had about 150 participants in that conference, and we were only 4 blacks. 2 were Kenyans, one was a Nigerian, then myself. Now, that is the power of sharing. You learn, and you also get several opportunities. Now, when this happened, just about 3 months later, they invited me back for another conference, more opportunities. So that is what we are going to get with the communities. Now, when it comes to supporting, I mean, this is about supporting others. We are not going to be looking at having events. Okay, someone comes and they want to do Android one time, they drop that and get to, say, cloud and do something. Now, how you can benefit from communities is actually to follow the programs that are run. So it's best that we run programs and follow, be consistent with that. Now, when you look at, this is an example of the Google Cloud Mentorship Program that we had. This was at one of the events with the Pi ladies. The facilitator. Now you can see that the consistency they had in this community actually gave them the what? They were able to come and teach others. So just imagine they had come, okay, one time and they dropped out, came back after say some other good weeks. So all these guys, they are now very serious people when it comes to cloud computing. This was one of the classes that we had. Basically, we were having this bi-weekly. After 2 weeks, we come and meet. So I want to talk about the expert program. Now that connects us again to what we are calling community. Now, for you to become a Google developer expert, one thing you can actually have every knowledge at your fingertips. So you know everything about everything about a technology. But then, if you do not share the knowledge you have with community and have online presence, you cannot be considered a Google developer expert. So when you get into those, now for you to become, when you actually qualify to become a developer expert under the Google Experts program, you have a direct or Cloud Next events, any program that is run by Google. It's only that this year I was actually meant to be in San Francisco this year for the Cloud Next, but we happened to have, the coronavirus stepped in just a month before, so it was locked down. So sharing with community, basically immersing yourself within the community and sharing great ideas is one thing that is going to lift us and take us to another level. So now the beauty about the club that is starting this year is that you have all the materials, anything that can actually benefit you. When they talk of Google technologies, you may think, okay, if it's only Google technologies, then you're going to be missing a lot. But Google covers nearly everything, and you're not tied to you're not tied to learning only those things. So let's embrace this community, be part of it. Whenever we want to share certain things with the community, let's come out and be part of this. You can only be guided on what to do. So I happen to be a mentor of both the GDGs and the DSCs. So I will definitely be at your disposal whenever you need me. So adding to the fact that I am already part of the MUBS community through I mean, by being a mentor, I can always be accessed anytime. So let's have. Thank you very much for listening. In case of any questions, I believe that can probably, I don't know if it can be now, but that should be it for now. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for sharing, Solomon. So we're going to have a Q&A session much later on, but for now, let us have our principal, our good friend, Professor Wasswa Balunywa, give us a talk and launch this club in Makerere University Business School. So, Professor, I hope you're still with us. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Hello, Prof.
Yep.
Hello.
I'm moving over to you.
Am I on now?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah, I was failing to unmute the microphone. Thank you.
Hello, Prof. I think you're muted. Hello, Prof. Could you unmute your mic? We can't unmute a person. A person has to unmute themselves. Hello,
Hello.
Prof? Yes. Someone had muted you. Sorry about that.
Okay, sorry. It was giving me problem to unmute, so again, I thought it was a challenge. But I was saying that I'm so excited about IT, and I was giving my story that in the 1980s, when I was in Makerere, I got 12 computers from Makerere University. From a friend in the UK. I brought them to the Faculty of Commerce, and I was the best teacher in IT. You know, what was I teaching? This is a CPU, this is a keyboard, the DOS, and so on and so forth. Now, really, what I know about IT, I can't write on a full A4 page. That's how things have changed, and that's how ignorant I've become about IT. But I'm so excited about it because I know it can do everything that I want to do. Last weekend, I think I was with Charles, and I was telling him about this conference MUBS has just had. And I was saying, Charles, there must be a way in which you do this. And he gave me the solution, you know. It's very pleasing to know that we are having a club which is going to let people really explore, find out how best you can develop applications, how best we can improve the things that we do, so that we can make life easier, we can make life cheaper, and be able to get on top of things. I always say that we're a bit slack in the way we do things. We have over 2,000 students doing business computing. And I think that energy to generate solutions in applications is not there. And Professor Moya, we must find a way of getting our young people to get excited about IT so that they can generate solutions to some of the problems that we have, which are unique to us. I believe that everything that has a process can be computerized, can be digitized. I believe that we have so many unique things in this country. Right now, during this coronavirus pandemic, people are taking mululuza, they are taking ginger with lemon, they are boiling all kinds of things, chigaji, all these, and some people are feeling better as a result of using them. And what we need to do is be able to find out through maybe telemedicine and things like that. So really, it's a pleasure for me to listen in to and be part of this group. I will not be able to develop applications, I must tell you that. But I'm a user. I want to find usages of IT so that I can make my life much simpler than what it is at the moment. Of course, you can see right now, I'll tell you something very interesting. There is an accountants meeting taking place, which I was in for 1 hour. There is the students meeting with the dean of students, which I joined at the beginning, and I've left to be able to listen into this. And after my speech, I'll go back to the dean of students meeting, and all this is happening, and I'm at home. I could not have been able to do this if these meetings were physical and they were somewhere. So there is really important points about the usage of IT, how we can use it, and how we can be in a position to take advantage of it. So I would like to thank Charles and Solomon and the rest of you who are on this forum. That thank you for these wonderful thoughts. When you talk about Google, he has got so many names: Uncle Google, Jaja Google, Google this, Google that. And a lot of fun being coming out of it. But definitely, Google is one of the biggest companies in this world. Is trying to change the way life is, and definitely we as educators must be able to see the indicators that that's where we need to go as educators, to have more people educated in areas of digitization and IT, so that we can improve the lives of people in our country. I hope that as you do this, look back into the villages. How can our people benefit from the technology that is coming up? How can Google help us get those people who are out there to be better than what they are today? How can Google help us to improve our farming? These are all things that you can think about. So again, thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to launch the club. Thank you, and may God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for taking off time from your busy schedule. We are always happy to have you. You know, when Professor was speaking, it reminded me of an article I read somewhere where someone said that what we deem as valuable right now might not be valuable in 10 years to come. So value is relative, but it must also be progressive. And that brings me to the next thing, that when you are learning something, I hope we always take time to refresh ourselves and learn more. So there's always room for everybody in the club. And I will be very glad to show Professor a few things or two that he can take on with himself. And he'll be the coolest person around, I kid you not. So without further
Sure.
ado, definitely. So we have mixed our program up a bit, but it was necessary. I am going to have about 5 minutes for our Dean Faculty of Computing and Informatics, Professor Musa Moya, so that he can speak to us about our club and welcome us into the community. So Professor Musa, I hope you're with us. Hello, Prof. I don't know if his mic is muted. Professor Musa, are you still with us? He did it. So as we wait to get back to him, let's have Mr. Charles Olupot, the... Oh, okay, okay. That's understandable. Sorry about that, Professor Musa, but that's okay. We'll definitely have you speak to us soon. Let's have Mr. Charles Olupot, the director of the ICT Center, speak to us next. Mr. Charles, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tabitha, and the rest of the people who have joined for this very important event as Makerere University Business School. Like my boss, Professor, has already indicated, the business school is very keen on issues of technology, and just try to establish a relationship, especially with Google some time back. And any program that has been coming through Google, Makerere University Business School has been having open arms. And I think us having students getting involved in this gives a better opportunity for us to be able to tap into the possibilities that come with the technology. Like Prof has said, we have over 2,000 students that are in IT that are specifically focused on that. And yet I know that this is not just about the people who are in IT, but we think that the people who are in faculty of computing and informatics will play a very pivotal role in pushing and making sure that this community is successful. And together with the management of the faculty, Professor Moya and the rest of the team, the heads of departments, Professor Bada, Dr. Cheyune, are all very keen to ensure that the students are given the necessary support to make sure that they make the best use of their time while at school. As an ICT center, we are an outreach unit of the university. And one of the key things we do is engaging and working with the students, and especially focusing on giving them those practical skills. And that's why we are very keen on this. And we want to pledge that we will continue to work with this community, we'll support this community in whichever way. Management has already indicated, as Prof has said, is very keen on this. So we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that this club and this community succeeds. We will be proud to see some of the great products coming out of this community, and we promise the maximum support to make sure that happens. And Tabitha has already alluded that we work closely with the Entrepreneurship Incubation and Innovation Center, and where we have some of the programs that will directly be important to this club. And we have been talking with the director, and we want to see how we can be able to integrate some of the activities that the club will be doing, and so that we can have better support system for the club. And I want to congratulate the team that has put this together. We want to congratulate you on this very important launch occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles Olupot. Thank you so much. Without further ado, by the way, it seems we are still within our time. We're going to have a DSC lead from Nigeria. He's a good friend of mine, and he has been showing me the reins around in the time since we joined the program. And his name is Ogurinka Benjamin. He prefers to go by the name Tammy, and he is going to give us a talk on harnessing tech skills for oneself. So Tammy, are you still with us?
Hello, good morning, everybody. Can everyone hear me?
Oh yeah, it's morning that side. We can hear you, but there's
Okay.
something in your background.
All right. I have a bit of background noise. Can you hear me clearly
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Please go
All
ahead.
right. So it's still morning over here. So I'm guessing it's noon over there. So good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. I'll present my screen just in a bit. Um, okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So thank you very much, Tabi, for this wonderful opportunity. It's a wonderful privilege to be around fellow tech enthusiasts and people interested in tech. So I really, really appreciate this opportunity. So briefly, I'll be talking about harnessing tech skills for oneself. Initially, again, I'm Ogurinka Benjamin. Forgive my manners. Tabi has already introduced me. I prefer going by the name Tami. It's easier to remember. It's smoother to pronounce. So you can call me Benjamin, you can call me Tammy, whichever works for you. So I'll be talking about harnessing tech skills for oneself. When Tabby gave me this topic, to be honest, I was a bit confused on how to approach it, the best things to say, and how to make the most of it. But then, after doing a couple of research, after doing some thinking for myself, I came up with a few pointers to help guide me for this talk. So before we go ahead and actually focus on the topic, we're just going to go ahead and talk about a few things. So, first off, what does it mean to harness? Because we've talked about the topic, harnessing tech skills for oneself. We have to understand what it means to harness something, what is the whole idea behind harnessing. And it simply means to control or direct a sieve with a harness for a specific purpose. The way solar power harnesses the power of the sun. And if you think about it, technology enthusiasts, were able to develop the solar panel to be able to make use of the energy that comes from the sun, being able to power devices, being able to power plants, power buildings, and power a lot of things. It uses that concept of harnessing, it uses that concept of being able to take what you've been given by something, a certain ability of another thing, and making use of it for something else. In this case, everyone knows that the sun produces energy, and this energy can be used in one way or the other. And someone thought about it and like, okay, let me build a panel, or let me build something I can use to tap this power of the sun and leverage on it and use it for something else. So when you talk about harnessing, it simply means being able to take being able to leverage an idea or something that already exists for a specific purpose. Now, what are tech skills? These are basically the abilities and knowledge needed to perform specific tasks. They are practical and often relate to mechanical, information technology, mathematical, or scientific tasks. Now, this is pretty straightforward. A lot of times we hear tech skills and there's this common misconception that it's just mostly about the computer aspect of it. People just focusing on computers, but the truth is that it's not always about that. It's not always about the more computer literate aspect of it. Again, apologize for my background noise. I can't really do much about it. I live close to the road, and cars pass every now and then, so I apologize for that. So back to what I was saying, there's just common misconception about the fact that tech skills are a bit more streamlined to computer-related activities. But I for myself have come to understand, and I've been able to like reiterate this idea wherever I talk, whenever I give advice to people, whenever I'm given the opportunity to address a crowd. It's not always about the computer aspect of it. It's not always about the very things that might seem very complicated. Just by definition on your screen currently, you can see that it relates to either the practical, mechanical, and mathematical or scientific tasks. Now, tech is a concept. It's not always about the practical applications. It is a concept that can be applied in various forms, either by being practically involved or by harnessing other aspects of tech, like the thinking part of tech, where you have to like come up with ideas, come up with concepts, come up with a few techniques to achieve a specific purpose. Let's say you have a project, or let's say you're working on a project with a couple of friends, and the simple task is let's move a lamp from point A to point B. Now, everything that goes into the thought process of how you can move that lamp from point A to point B can be considered an aspect of tech, because there's there's a process.
There's a process.
Please mute your mic.
Please mute your mic.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so there's a process of how you can move that thing from point A to point B. There's you first of all think of, okay, what are the best options available? How much does this thing weigh? And what are the best things to apply to get this from point A to point B? Now, everything that goes into that thought process, everything you use, everything you employ to actually achieve that specific task can be considered an application of tech, because the fact that you're able to come up with a device that can move this thing from, even though you just maybe use okay, I use a lamp, for example, but that's a very basic example. But even though you just maybe use the thread to knit around the handle of the tie of the lamp or something, or just use a hand, to an extent, you've been able to employ certain tech skills that you might not even be totally aware of. So when you think about tech skills, you not always think about it as the very complicated part where you have to sit in front of a computer or be involved in heavy engineering or any of that. Think about it as a concept, as an idea that you can apply to perform any specific task, no matter how the task may seem. If it's an examination and you want to plan how people are going to sit for that examination, there's a thought process that goes into it to avoid malpractices and to avoid a lot of things. That is an application of tech, whether or not you had to use any form of what's it called? Whether or not you had to use any form of let's say computer technology or any of that, you've been able to apply some form of thought process into being able to structure the layout of the seats to ensure that it is accessible and can easily monitor activities that are happening during the examination. So think about that as a lot of the concepts that go into tech skills. Don't just look at tech skills as the more having to code and all of that. So now that said, okay, I've already gone ahead to explain this in detail, but I'm just going to throw more light on this. So now when you've thought about the fact that, okay, it's not just about the computer aspect of things, you have to now consider, okay, what are the options available? What are the tech skills that actually are, okay, let's say I want to name a tech skill, I want to apply a tech skill. What are the tech skills that actually exist? Initially, I wanted to like do a slide, but for to specify the different tech fields, but I don't want to bore you with all of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and just make it a bit more relatable. So you can think about in terms of wanting to name a tech skill or wanting to chase a particular tech skill, you can think about it in various forms. Like I've already mentioned, there's a part where you have to spend time in front of maybe a computer or a board or some form of engineering, use some form of engineering tool and achieve a certain task. There's also the part where you do not have to do any of that. So in terms of having to apply the more computer aspects of things, you can think of the tech skills like coding, database management, and all of that. In terms of not having to bother about the computer aspects of things, you can talk about the aspects of technical writing. Now, all of these are various techniques that you can apply. All of these are various tools. There are various areas that you can leverage your knowledge, the idea of tech, not just the name tech. Now, the concept of tech, the idea behind tech, and be able to achieve specific purposes. So how does it all fit together? How does the tech skill and harness? How does it all come together? Now, for students, like most people on this call are, think about it this way. You need to work on a project as a student. You need to solve a problem. You need to solve an assignment. You need to build something. Your understanding of the tech skills that you've been able to understand how they work and how it fits into what you want to achieve. You're understanding the thought process you put into things and being able to evaluate all the opportunities that are available for you to achieve a certain goal is particularly unique to you. Now, let's say you have a project that you need to submit to your lecturer or your teacher, whatever the term you use. There's a process that goes into it. And this is you having to think, first of all, and then understand and then apply. Now, all of these are in various forms that I don't want to spend so much time explaining, but all of these are in various forms applications of tech. You've been able to harness the ability to think about, okay, this is a project. How can I get the best out of this project? You think about, okay, you need to research. You've been a research, you've been able to apply some form of tech skill, you've been able to harness the fact that a technology already exists, and we know to apply to use it to solve a problem of research. Now, let's say you want to go beyond research and you want to actually build or you want to actually document. Now, everything that goes into you being able to understand the idea you want to bring together and being able to apply it is you being able to harness that tech skill that you've chosen. Let's say you want to go into technical writing, or you want to focus on the aspects of coding, or you want to go into the aspect of, let's say, analyzing data and all of that. The process you put, the idea of being able to understand how these things work, the idea of being able to understand. Please, if you can hear me, just let me know in the chat section. I think I'm quite all right. So you being able to apply, being able to understand how data analysis work, being able to understand the full concept of data analysis gives you the ability to be able to apply it when you need to solve a problem for your project. Let's say your project is aimed at understanding the behaviors of students. You need to employ certain data analytics skills. You have to learn how data analysis work. You have to understand how you can apply them. And you being able to understand how it works and applying it, you've been able to harness the ability and your understanding of this concept to solve a problem for you. Or let's say you're like I'm guessing talking to mostly business students works. You need to understand how to solve a problem for a business. You need to learn certain skills. You need to understand certain skills. You need to have certain knowledge. And yeah, you being able to understand this, get these skills, being able to understand those various complexities gives you the ability to be able to solve your problems better. Let's say you want to make a data analysis. I like using data analysis because, well, I'm talking to business people, and most of them they do a lot of things in terms of business. So you want to do data analysis. You need to understand how the business would work, how it would run. Now you need to learn about big data analysis. That is a tech skill. You need to learn about it because you want to harness the skill to solve a problem. You want to harness the skill to solve the problem of how can I improve this business? How can I make this business better? I don't think I have much time, so I don't want to spend so much time talking about all of this. So in conclusion, before I go into questions in conclusion, being able to understand, being able to know how a certain tech skill works gives you the ability to harness it to its full potential. Being able to know that, okay, being able to understand that I need to know how people behave. I need to understand my audience better. I need to understand how students relate to a certain concept. Being able to understand how you can get this idea from students gives you the ability to leverage on the text, on that tech, on the whatever tech skill you employ, and be able to get the expected product. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stop there. I don't have so much time. I was given 10 minutes, and I think I'm almost out of my 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna like stop there. And if you have questions for me, or you want better clarity on some of the concepts I've mentioned, you can always reach out to me. I'm at Ogurinka Ben everywhere on Twitter, and you can visit my website and maybe drop a message for me or send me an email or something. So thank you very much. I hope I've been able to like give a bit of clarity in terms of how you can harness or how harnessing tech skills come into play and how you can use it to solve problems for you, solve problems for your environment, and solve problems for your immediate community. Thank you very much, Tabby.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I'm so grateful for that great talk that you've given us. And you definitely must show me how you made that presentation. Yeah. So thank you everybody who has joined us today. I want to do one small thing before we go into a Q&A. I want to take a screenshot of everybody in this video. So if you want to show your face, please you can turn on your camera so that I can take a screenshot with you in it. So 3, 2, 1. I can see Mr. Charles has let himself up. Yes, 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 yes. Anybody else who would like to be in the screenshot for our gallery? Good, 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 good. Yes. Anyone else? Good. I see you, Louis. Thank you. So I've taken my screenshots. Any questions for our people in the comment section? Anyone with questions for our speakers today?
Hey, Tabi, I got a question.
There are no questions on your end? Yes, Louis, you have a question.
So yes. Yes, thank you, Tabi, for hosting this. So just for me, I'm already a developer, but I'm really interested in the work that you guys are doing, and I think that it's the way to go. Thanks, Solomon, and then the two professors that gave a speech. Thanks for the Nigerian guy as well. My question is that are you guys planning on having apart from the code labs and everything, are you planning on a comprehensive kind of like arrangement where those code lab skills are actually leveraged to actually create a product for for society or for community, so that the students just don't feel like they coded something and just left it there, but it's something that is out there and helping people out. Thank you.
So to reply Louis' question, we are actually supposed to have at least 3 solutions per year. That's aside from the solution challenge. And you can choose any of those solutions to be the one you present for the annual solution challenge. We can also create solutions for our local communities, for startups. I think you've been to our incubation center on campus. So a lot of startups there have ideas, but no ways to implement the ideas. So the knowledge that students gather can be used in return to help these startups create solutions, or these students can make solutions just for their peers and develop them, get support from various hubs all over the country. Maybe Solomon might have something to say about this. Solomon, do you have anything to say about this? I'm guessing he doesn't. So, any more questions? Yes, Solomon.
Okay. Thank you very much, Louis. So one thing I want to point out is that when you look at a club like this, basically why they are can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, definitely.
Can you? I thought you could. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Solomon, I can hear you.
I don't know what's happening, but I don't know if you guys are able to hear me. If you can.
Yes, continue. Here.
Okay. I was pointing out that in the first place, why this club is brought into the look at. Basically, you look. Maybe I'm breaking. So, what we are looking at, several initiatives that students usually come up with and all that, and now we are looking. looking at supporting, actually develop their products. I'll give an example of Moody University. They were the first people to win the DSC. So what happened was, Moody University, that was I forget. The lead for Moody University actually called me, and he told me he wanted a session on cloud. And I told him, now, having to leave Kampala to come to Arua to just do a session, in on cloud would not be so much helpful. I want to come and make sure we have what impact. So what we did was basically to go and help them polish their solutions that they already had, and they emerged the winners of the solution challenge that year. So it is to help the students develop what they already have. Now, if you just have the coding skill, now how can you improve that to actually come up with the real products? That's why at the end of the year you have the DSC challenge. I hope.
Oh dear, I think we have lost Solomon. Perhaps it's the network on his end. Do we have any more questions? So, as I have mentioned in the chat box over here, we have a feedback form that is going to be sent to everybody's emails, whoever was in attendance of this meeting today. And I'm imploring you to please fill it in, because it's very necessary for me and for us. So please fill in that form when it comes your way. And the recording of this event is going to be available on a platform. I will send the link as well to all of you, so that you're able to catch up in case you missed out on anything. I am grateful to all my fellow leads who have joined me today. Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you, Deborah, Koketso. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Aziz. I can see so many people, Mahmoud. I am so grateful to all you guys. My wonderful team that helped me put this together, my wonderful DSC lead team. Thank you so much for making this a big success. I wish it were physical. We would have had so much more fun, because I had so many things set aside for all of us to do. I mean, so many games to play online. And thank you so much, Mr. Olupot, for joining us today. Thank you, Professor Moya, and somebody extend my gratitude to Professor Wasswa Balunywa. And let's get back to what Solomon was saying. Solomon, please unmute.
Okay. I surely don't know where I stopped. I just kept talking alone and there was no response eventually. So should I
solution challenge.
Should I start from is it from the beginning? Okay, I was talking about the solution challenge. What happened with Moody University? Now, basically picking from what they were doing. Now, there's usually the understanding that communities basically look at, okay, having to come and do something in a given technology and go away. But the most important thing is to actually help people build solutions. So when these guys called me, they wanted to run, they wanted a code, they wanted basically introduction to cloud. And I looked at myself leaving Kampala and going up to Arua to do a code, to do labs in cloud. And to me, it did not make sense. And I told them, now you guys are having you're having the DSC challenge coming up. Now, what you can come and do is to come and sit in your teams, and we go through the process of coming up with your solutions and actually being able to build, and also doing the pitching. Now, that is basically looking at people's solutions. So we had the whole day in that place, and at the end of the day, they had several teams, and they merged the winners of the DSC challenge for that year. What happens is, looking at a global thing, and Uganda happens to be that. I mean, Uganda happens to take the position. That was really, for us, that was really great. So whatever aspect that comes is taken care of. It's not only, hey, come and do some labs or learn something small and go, but it's to help the people get into all these aspects, provided they can grow. Yes, that is it from me.
Yeah, that's all we were waiting for. Thank you so much, Solomon, for your insight into this. So again, I'm grateful to all of you for joining us today. We'll be having more events soon, and I hope we'll be able to meet up as well as we have done today. More events will be sent to your inboxes again, and you'll know from our social media channels and from our page on the Google Devs platform. So you're free to leave at leisure. Thank you so much for coming today.